Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Alston, and it is once again my pleasure to bring quality programs to all of you today. I am, excited again and again and again to be here in the fourth year of the BMWOC, where we have over 50 some odd people on the podcast. I can't believe we're actually doing it again. If you haven't got a chance to check out what's been going on in the BMWOC, make sure that you go back into the prior years to see how many people have really got on this platform and have shown that this is something that is desperately needed out there in the communities all over the world. And just in case you did not know what the purpose is, the purpose of the BMWOC is to not only unify our industries across the nation, but we are also sharing our information to encourage future career seekers, speakers, authors, and anyone that has a talent that is looking for more information about how they can advance their business and career goals. So make sure that you visit all of the pages and make sure you listen to all the podcasts and visit everybody and just check them out. Click on their links, buy a book, because there are business owners, speakers, and authors, and so they need you to show them that you value their story. Before we get into our next dynamic speaker today, I first want to take a moment to thank our corporate sponsors, who are My Financial Home, Evangelism Radio, JNF Enterprises, Sears Consulting, Autism Families Rock, Awakening to Love, Eli Natoli, Kimberly McLemore, True Synergy, and Platinum Financial Services, along with all of our other participants who is helping to make this event a huge, huge success in 2019. So today I would like to welcome to the podcast Mina Izadjoo to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. She is the President and Chief Science Officer of Integrated Pharma Services. She's also formerly the Chief Science Officer and Laboratory Director for Tridem Biosciences and is currently President of the Washington Academy of Science. She has also served as a Senior Distinguished Scientist and Director of the Diagnostic and Translational Research Center of the Henry M. Jackson Foundation for Advancement of Military Medicine. And she also has a PhD in microbiology from the Louisiana State University. And if that wasn't enough, she also has 6 years of postdoctoral fellowship at Texas A&M University at the National Institute of Health in microbiology and so many other things. And so I want you guys to keep reading her bio because I'm telling you, she is phenomenal, being Women Innovator of the Year from the Maryland Women's Business Center. And I bring to you Meena. Meena, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for the kind introduction.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your background and where you're from and how did you get into this line of work?
I've always wanted to be a physician, and I've always loved, from childhood, movies. Patients are being treated, and that was my dream. When I took my first class in college in microbiology, I fell in love with the unseen world. And that's the time that I really decided to pursue microbiology. So my BS, master's degree, PhD, all the focus was in microbiology. After that, I also did some work in immunology. Actually, the work that I did in my first postdoc in Texas A&M University, which was working on infectious disease in cattle called brucella. It was the reason that I was hired by U.S. Army after my NIH work. And at that time, I thought all I'm doing, I'm trying to develop a vaccine for brucellosis in cattle, not realizing that this is actually a biowarfare agent. That's how I joined Armed Forces Institute of Pathology as a senior scientist in early 1997. And when I left, actually I didn't leave. The base was Bragg. I was a division chief. My division was the largest division at AFIP. And our research was from therapeutics to diagnostics, all on infectious diseases. And from there, I joined Henry M. Jackson Foundation for Advancement of Military Medicine. And after that, I entered private sector. First, with Tradium Biosciences. And at that time, I was not a business owner. With Integrated Pharma Services, I became a business owner.
Okay, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that interesting information. So, taking a step back in time when you first was introduced to pharmacy and scientific knowledge and skills and things of that nature, how difficult was it to into that line of work in the very beginning? I'm trying to encourage a lot of people who are interested in science, interested in medical
Right.
medicine, and things of that nature. And you definitely have some knowledge in a lot of the key things that we use all the time. One of them being immunization. So, talk to us a little bit about your first experiences going into that, and particularly being a woman.
I mean, early on, I really did not see any difference between a woman and a man in the field. It was later on that I realized there are differences. What I think the key to anybody's success, regardless of the gender, is to be passionate about what they're doing and having that confidence. And throughout the year, that really helped me. Comments by others, challenges, it really did not affect my career path. And I think this is really key, especially for women. They really need to do much better than a man in order to, I hate to say that, to get the same recognition
Mhm.
or achieve the same level of success.
Gotcha. Okay, so when you were going to school at an early age, were you introduced more into science and pharmacy, or did you kind of stumble on that later on in life after high school, or just as you said earlier, was that during your high school years or maybe early college years?
But so I was born in Iran, and at that time, the emphasis in high school was math. I chose that because that was the strongest path or the most challenging path a student could take at that time. But even at that time, I wanted to get into medical field. But hands-on, actually, it was during my BS degree, and when I started taking labs, that I had the opportunity to work with microorganisms. That's the time that I really could feel was the turning point for me. Trying to understand, I mean, the microbial world fascinated me. Things that we cannot see, but at the same time, they have a tremendous effect on our health and also, on our diseases.
Okay.
So it was later, for me, it was later on.
For you is later on. Okay, awesome. Okay. So as you started to progress in your career in this field, and this is certainly a STEM related field, how important do you think it is for more people to get into this line of work, particularly when it comes to the immunization, the microbiology, all of the things that you find to be passionate? How important is it that we have more people in this field?
I think it is very important because I think, and I don't have the exact statistics, we really need more students. We need our next generation to be enrolled in STEM related education, in particular females. That is a must. And to be at the forefront of research and discovery, that is critical. But one of the challenges that I see for students, and I mean, there are a number of students that they become interested in the middle school, but later on, I don't know if I would say they lose interest, but they do not stay in STEM, is because they do not know what is available to them. And I think it's very important to educate young age the students and show them what they can do with a degree in STEM.
Yeah, you really touched on a key point when you said they don't know what's available to them. And I have to agree with you, Mina. I don't think there's enough emphasis on the different type of careers that can be in result of teaching the different avenues of STEM, particularly yours, because when my kids went to school, they didn't even talk about being any kind of, engineer or pharmacist, doing this. I mean, you're like seriously advanced. I give props to you. Okay. There's no
Thank
way in the
you.
world that I will learn how to do anything micro anything. Okay.
Well, I mean, just in a different field, that's all.
Yes, exactly. And I think that if that information was made known to students about how they can learn so much, I think there would be more interest in your field. But I do agree that we do need more people to get into the STEM and really teach what are available to them and really just give them all the information. But hopefully, in this particular podcast, it could stir up some conversation with some people because not only you, but I also have 3 or 4 other people who are in STEM related careers that are pretty much going to voice the same concern. And so my part in this is to put your industry out there to generate that kind of interest so that if anybody would love to talk to Meena about what she does, please do contact her. Her information is going to be on this page. So, Meena, tell us about your organization, Integrated Pharma Services. I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that you started that organization, but talk to us about how you began that journey and who do you serve and what do you do there?
Integrated Pharma Services was established. I mean, we are listed as a contract research organization. And what we do research and development, testing for our collaborators that they have technologies that they wanted to take to the next level. And what do I mean by that? That could be a drug, that could be a new antibiotic, that we do testing in the laboratory to demonstrate, for example, that antibiotic can kill this class of organisms. We do a lot of biofilm testing. Also devices, we have worked with a number of medical devices. In addition to that, there are some products, although whatever we are doing is in an attempt to mature and bring these products for human use. But there are also products that they are commercially available, they're even FDA approved, and occasionally we do more testing on them so that the clinicians look at the results, understand how this technology works. So it's not only for products that are in the development, post-market also. We do research and development. I also have a strong internship program. I have supported a number of students from local colleges, and I'm hoping that the internship in my lab would have some sort of an impact on their career, since I know mentorship and is critical for the next generation. I believe, I mean, STEM is important for men and women, right?
Right.
But with women, it's different. Often women, when they wanted to advance their education, there is an aspect that I repeatedly have seen, and that is they want to contribute to the society. And they prefer to have a career path that has a clear social purpose. And unfortunately, STEM courses, they do not show that social purpose for their education. And I believe this is one of the reasons that maybe there are, we don't have as many as men in a stem cell. Because we have to make a difference. I mean, I've seen it repeatedly. And I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know,
really
maybe it's the
interesting.
difference in nature, right? It is not only
No,
pay,
it
especially at the
actually
young age.
it makes
As we
perfect
all,
sense. It does. It makes
yes,
perfect sense, Mina.
yes.
And when you say that it doesn't have a social presence, it has a presence when people are saying we need more people in STEM, but not so much like we was talking about earlier that if you're in STEM, you get to do these things. And what's really interesting too about your organization that I have never really heard before that you guys actually do a lot of testing for different drugs and different scenarios of things. And you don't hear a lot of that. So I'm glad that your organization, and I'm pretty sure there's several others out there that is making sure that the things that we take as that's supposed to be for our health, that is supposed to be good and good for us, and I'm assuming that's supposed to be the outcome. And I'm glad to hear that you are opening your doors to allow students to come in and learn from you, which is very, very important in terms of mentorship. So, how would someone be able to get a mentorship with your organization? Do they go to your website and they fill out a form, or do they contact you?
Right. It depends if they are from local colleges, they can contact us. We have an internship program with Frederick Community College and other organizations. We actually had an intern from University of Maryland who was a master's degree student, and she was a science teacher. That was really quite exciting for me because she got the hands-on. And I'm hoping the training she was provided in our lab, she can take that and use it for teaching her classes. One of the things that I think a lot of students in middle school or even high school, our science classes, they need to be, I guess, more exciting. And learning about new human diseases, new technologies, and bringing those two classes, I think is going to help with keeping our students in the STEM field.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And who is interested, simply contact me.
That's right. Contact Meena. That's right. Because what I was going to also ask you for the end of this section right here is that if you could give someone maybe 2 or 3 pieces of advice of going into your particular field, starting with microbiology and leading all the way up to, research and development, and they're coming out of school with a scientific degree, what advice would you give them to keep them encouraged while they're going through this journey?
Going to the journey, I think the purpose is helping mankind, and I think that by itself is sufficient. Succeeding is a different thing, right? So we all wanted to help others, but succeeding, I think, first of all, there has to be that interest and the passion. Not giving up, and confidence. And I cannot emphasize enough on networking and knowing people in your field. So that would open hopefully a successful career path.
Okay, awesome. Now, are you going to be engaged in any kind of events or speaking events where people can come out and listen to your work and, watch what you're doing and just kind of pick your brain? Are you kind of doing anything that you want folks to know about?
Throughout the year, we attend different conferences and present our scientific findings. The schedule of our next presentations, we usually post them on our website.
So give everybody your contact information and how they can contact you, your website information or your email.
My name, I guess everybody, I think it's difficult to pronounce last name, but it's spelled. Meena is the first name, Mina, last name Izadjoo. My email address is Izadjoo, my last name, @ipharmaservices.com. Feel free to give me a call, 301-204-4201. And our website is www.integratedpharmaservices.com.
Awesome. And guys, all of her contact information is going to be below. So all you have to do is go down to the bottom of the page and click on the link and reach out to Meena about any of the stuff that you heard in this podcast, because we need more STEM innovators out there. She is just one phenomenal person who has won a Innovator of the Year award. So I'm looking to see who else is going to match up and fill those shoes for the next Innovative Award for STEM careers. And Meena, I would like to thank you for being on the podcast today and sharing your background with everybody.
Thank you.